Hey Brewers fans, we know it can get real cold outside. So let's warm you up with the latest on the crew. It's time for Hot Stove Weekly on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. It's time to focus on the 2026 championship season. Get the latest on free agent signings, trades, the front office, and the fans. It's Hot Stove Weekly with Tommy Wirtz. Here's the franchise Tim Allen.
What is going on, Brewers fans? Welcome in. It's another edition of Hot Stove Weekly right here in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. There's Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen. There's Breckenridge. Look at this, Tommy. A grand slam for Brandon Lockridge gives the Brewers a 10-7 lead.
He's having a good spring, Tim.
I know. Where are you going to put him?
Could he make it over Blake Perkins?
I'd be. You know what? Wouldn't that be the thing? Once I sign on as a Blake Perkins fan,
and Murphy leaves right after. If he's sitting down, I'm sitting down.
Yeah,
Rick Sweet, the manager, right at the end.
So they're in play now. That fifth inning just went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Tyler Black had a nice hit in that inning, but Breckenridge, Brandon Lockridge, the big blow. Brewers were down 7-0 in this game. They're in, like I said, they're in play now against the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
They got all over Trinan, so it was just a nightmare for the Dodgers there in the fifth inning, but the Brewers put up 10 last I counted as I jumped on the air here.
Right. And Tyler Glass now had the bump to start things off, and I think some Brewers fans getting some PTSD of Tyler Glass now outings as well from previous instances with the Dodgers, but able to find him as well. He was through 4 1/3, ends up having to get pulled in the middle of that for Jerming Rosario. You familiar with
yes.
Jerming? Yeah, he didn't record an out and had 5 earned runs in the contest.
Yeah, that's a good thing against the Dodgers, even though it's Cactus League play. I've determined that Cactus League and spring training things or games only count if you want them to. I think that's the bottom line with spring training, isn't it? Nothing matters unless you want it to. That's kind of a good thing, a good spot to be in. I mean, if you don't have any goals or aim, then aren't you a sharpshooter?
Isn't that kind of just like a good life metaphor there you're trying to drop there, Tim?
I think so.
It only matters if you make it matter. Everything you do.
If you don't have a target, you are a sharpshooter, because anyone can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to pound on the podium too. But the problem here as of late, which would be in today's game, starting pitchers for the Brewers, I would like to see them have a little bit better results, but that's me. Maybe it is working on a particular pitch. You wouldn't throw that pitch in the same situation in the regular season. You wouldn't throw that pitch as much in the regular season, just working on things. But boy, as of late, including today, Chad Patrick, the starters at least haven't been good.
Yeah, Chad Patrick, 3 1/3, 6 earned runs today in his contest. Going back to yesterday, my guy Shane Drowan, 4 innings of work, 3 earned runs. The Colorado game, in which the Brewers came out successful on Saturday, Mizorowski, decent outing, but he still went 4 innings with 2 earned runs. And then if we go all the way back to Friday, that was the Kyle Harrison blow up, 6 earned runs and his 4 innings of work. They're getting more innings for you, Tim.
Well, they are starting to expand and stretch a little bit. I will say that the Mizorowski, he had just no control early in that performance a couple of days ago, then settled in. Then he was fine. Drowan, he never made it out of the first, and then he had to return to the game in the second. So just to get some ups in there, if you will. And then Chad Patrick today, a lot of hard contact. But going back to Kyle Harrison, I will say this. I listened to that ball game, and he did have some bad luck. And now he didn't pitch great, but he did have some bad luck. There were some misplays. There was a Sun-aided, I think it was a 2-run double that Bowers that was a trip to Hollywood out there in left field trying to make that play. But again, that high sky or sun, whatever you want to call it in Arizona, played a part there. Hamilton had a huge error in that game. Also had a ball that was hit pretty hard, probably should have made the play at short, but didn't. Kyle Harrison deserved a better line in that game.
Kyle Harrison, we're excited to have him a part of this Brewers team, obviously coming over with the Caleb Durbin move from Boston, Shane Drowan, who we just mentioned, and David Hamilton, all of those guys all involved in the Caleb Durbin, Anthony Siegler, Andrew Monasterio game. He spoke a little bit after, and Tim, I will say this, he does still get upset about these type of outings. Good. All right. Here is Kyle Harrison after the game.
Kyle seemed like a fastball heavy approach today. What did you want to get out of today's outing?
Yeah. Just wanted to fill the zone and, honestly felt like I did a little too much. But at the end of the day, Heater was feeling great. I was able to get it in certain spots I wanted, personally wanted to be a little more glove side. Missed out a couple of times and those leaked over the fence. So yeah, just finding where I want to miss and little fastball happy today too, but it's good to feel it,
We've seen the changeup reach some pretty good levels. Where do you feel it's at with the consistency out and out?
Right. That's the part that I'm really trying to hone in on and work on. Just 3-2 counts, threw it one kind of in the fifth inning, I think, threw it 2-2 ball, kind of bad miss, and love that Reese wanted to go right back to it, trust it again, went back to it, and then got a good little ground out. So it's like just doing little things to get the confidence up with it. And, ultimately I think I had 2 or 3 kind of bad competitive kind of spikes. So just trying to shrink that number, honestly, and just get more comfortable with the pitch, throw it in kind of high tense situations, All
right, real quick, Tim, do you think that giving up 6 runs helps with confidence or hurts with confidence?
I think overall it's right now it's reset. His next outing needs to be result based. He needs to get into that groove where it's I'm enjoying some success and some result. Getting pounded is not always a bad thing because maybe it indicates what you don't want to do, obviously, but the pitches you don't want to throw. He's working on that change, and when that change that's the key to him right now. Tommy, that change up, if Hook and Kyle Harrison can get together and get that thing rolling, that's going to be a huge pitch for Kyle Harrison. This team is really leaning on him.
Yeah.
And I don't discount what he's done in the big leagues because the Brewers need to lean on him for whatever experience he's had thus far.
Absolutely.
Because there's not that much experience in the rest of the rotation.
No. And Harrison continues on after the outing. Here he is. Let's wrap up with Kyle Harrison.
Is the most important thing today the 5th up?
For sure. Definitely to get it stretched out and body's feeling great. So that's the most important part right now. And yeah, man, we're going to build on it, keep building, and hopefully get 5 again and keep going.
Do you feel like the ramp-up period has sort of, or I should say the familiarity period has kind of ended now? You guys are starting to really work together on some things?
I think so. I think it's kind of like go mode now. That's why personally, it was like, we were a little Heater happy, but, I kind of want to feel the Heater, know if I'm getting predictable. And ultimately, I was a little predictable today. So it's ironing that stuff out too, sequences, kind of clean up the sequences, kind of mess around, throw some different combinations next outing. So yeah, just definitely stringing it all together at this point.
That's probably a good thing though, right? That you're at a point in spring training where like you can get hit a little bit and be fine with it because you were trying to see some things and doing something.
I don't think I'll ever be fine with it. It still sucks. I'm still going to be driving home today and be pissed off. So no, that's the good part of baseball, and good thing it's spring right now. So
good thing it's spring right now, Tim.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that from these guys, don't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, and Tim, we were talking about ramp up 2 weeks ago. All right, like that. Now we're hearing the period was ramp up that we were in, and now it's all go mode. Like they shouldn't have been. They didn't know it was coming or something at this point. But like Kyle Harrison, I'm not worried about him. And if he wants to feel a little more with the fastball, cool. Practice a couple different pitches during this time. I still have high hopes for him. And I see why the Brewers went out, brought him in from Boston.
So you're going to rely on guys like Kyle Harrison, guys like Chad Patrick today. Drowan, I still think is undetermined at this point. Obviously, Mizorowski, Brandon Woodruff still on par and pace to be at least at the beginning of the season in the rotation, maybe not necessarily the opening day starter, although they could be laying in the weeds on that. Did pitch over the weekend and things were fine. So Brandon Sproat, Aaron Ashby is a name to keep your eyes on for this rotation early in the year. Tommy, it's one or the other in my world. It's Ashby or you sign one of these free agent veterans.
Oh, really?
It's not going to surprise me if at the end of the game today or tomorrow or the next day that they invest $2, $3, $4 million for a one-shot deal, try to catch lightning in a bottle.
Do you have any in mind? Let me pull them up here.
Let's go over the list.
So I know Lucas Giolito, for instance, is like one of the bigger names out there right now as far as who is still available to be signed by a position. Does that name do it for you at all?
I don't know if $2 million is going to do the trick with that.
Yeah. Let's see right here. Looking for people who are still not signed, listed as available. Frankie Montas. Bring him back, a little run back with the Brewers.
Maybe.
Alex Cobb, John Gray, Tyler Anderson. Please
those
no.
names,
Please
those names right there. It's not going to surprise me, folks. If they look, who is it then? You're going to open up the 26 championship season with Woody Mizorowski, Patrick, Harrison, Sproat.
It's
that
pretty young.
Right? Ashby?
Yeah, it could be Ashby. What about Serpa? He looked pretty good in the WBC in his one inning.
I'm puzzled on Serpa between him and DL Hall as, quote, the long man.
Yeah, long leverage relief, right?
Yep. And it's probably, I would think, DL Hall is starting to become hopefully healthy. Now, I was just reading on him. I think it was Hogue put out a piece about, the 100-mile-per-hour heater isn't there yet, or isn't there at all for DL Hall. That he's going to learn how to pitch with lesser velocity. Is that a guy? To me, he's tailor-made for the long leverage guy. So
DL
Serpa,
Hall, yes.
Hall is,
yeah.
yes. And without, without Ashby in that bullpen, because if they don't sign a pitcher, Ashby's going to be in this rotation. I don't see how else you do it, Tommy. I don't.
Well,
and maybe it turns out great, and maybe that's one of the surprises for the Brewers here this year.
I think that you are a little timid, as well as me, about the youth in this starting rotation, and maybe that seeps into the organization a little bit. That hey, they are going to be going out there with one guy who has more than 40 starts in the big leagues. And that guy also didn't pitch for 2 years for them either. Everyone else, it is kind of a figure it out on the fly. But Tim, it worked out so well for them last year with a very similar approach.
You just hope the adrenaline bug bites them, and just the competitive spirit in them, this win tonight thing gets them. And they're just off and running, and they're the same Brewers that they have been for pretty close to a decade here. And if maybe living more in the moment last year. Now, this offense, you say what you want about the offense. This is a good offense. And you can point to the numbers in spring training. Well, yeah, 1/3 of you could make the argument that your 3 best hitters haven't been here in weeks,
right?
Because of the World Baseball Classic in Churio and Terang and Contreras.
I think it's a fair argument. Yeah.
Are those your three best hitters on the team?
Those are the three I feel the most comomfortable with, I think, at the plate. Would you put Sal Frelick or Christian Yelich ahead of those guys?
Maybe Christian Yelich.
Maybe Vaughn with what he's been doing now since his time has been here.
But again, that's the offensive side of things that I'm not, I'm grain of salt with the offense. Pitchers here, on the other hand, to your point, that they need a little more success. And as I said, maybe this offense is going to bail them out. Look at this game today. I mean, they're down 7-0 and bloop, there it is. Oh, just the offense busts out. Not a better team to do it. Maybe the Cubs. But the Dodgers, they put a 10 spot up in that inning, and it may have been more as we jumped on the air.
They put up 10 in that, updating you guys on what's going on over in some Cactus League action for the Brewers and Dodgers. Luis Rengifo 2 for 4 today. Tyler Black, as you brought up, 2 RBI hit in this one. Gary Sanchez has a hit and a run scored. Your boy Joey Ortiz. I have some sound from Joey Ortiz that I want to play for you on the other side too. Talking a little bit about his WBC experience along the way. Lockridge, as you mentioned, has a couple of hits, including the grand slam in that one. Jet Williams 2 for 3 in the contest. We'll bring up that conversation later on in the program. And Luis Lara, who, again, the most at-bats as of anyone else. You wouldn't know that this is the same offense from the Sunday game yesterday, Tim. They were 1 out away from being perfect gamed.
Yeah, you wanted to have the Tim cam on yesterday. You definitely wanted to roll tape yesterday.
Yeah, it was Cooper Pratt, I believe, who drawed a walk, and Blake Burke with the hit finally.
And you could probably hear me all along the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network after that hit. I mean, that was beautiful. Even the Cooper Pratt walk. We'll get into more of that. Also, World Baseball Classic. Ooh, this comes down to the final game for Team USA. Italy in play tonight. Is that tonight, right?
Italy, Venezuela, 7:00.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Italy, but that's me. They seem to be somewhat of a Cinderella in the World Baseball Classic. Look at what Italy has done the last 3 games. They've taken out Puerto Rico, the U.S., and Japan. Was it Japan?
Venezuela just took out Japan.
Yeah, Who are the last 3 wins for Team Italy? Because that's the tell for me. So one was Team USA.
And then who else was in their group? Canada? Did they take out Canada?
Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico was the tournament. Yeah, for sure. Looking right now. Italy.
So there's 2 of those. And then they had one other bigger win. It might have been Canada, but in succession. So I think it's going to be Team USA against Canada. And just like in hockey, Team USA will take care of business.
Their pool results were Brazil, Great Britain, USA, Mexico was the other one.
Mexico, that's the other one.
There it is.
Those are 3 huge wins.
Yeah, Puerto Rico, Mexico, USA.
We'll get into that coming up in just a little while. Also, Jack Stern covers the Brewers for Brewer Fanatic. Our friend is going to join us at 6:00. You guys want to jump in here? Nicolay Law talking text line at 414-677-1250. There's Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen talking Brewers baseball. Another edition of Hot Stove Weekly live in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Important we don't peak too soon. They say it's a bad thing to peak too soon. So.
Well, you don't want to peak too soon in Cactus League, do you?
I mean, Tim, if this is not
important we don't peak too soon. They say it's a bad thing to peak too soon. So.
I mean, you might as well have said Tim Allen at the end of it, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Like,
hey, Murph, nothing's wrong with winning. Winning is never bad. It's never a bad thing. Brewers up still, last I checked, 10-7 over the Dodgers in play now. Yesterday, they almost got a perfect game thrown against them. So I caught the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And as the game was moving on, I was, got to be about the fourth or fifth inning. It's a Cactus League game. I mean, this game could end up 10-9.
Sure.
Not even worried about it. And then it got to be the sixth or seventh inning. It's still a perfect game. And then I had to look up, well, when was the last no-hitter in a spring training game? And it was down in Florida last year. It was the Baltimore Orioles. I didn't even realize that. That's how important these are, apparently. Unless it's your team that either does it or gets it done too. And Robbie Ray was just carving up a bunch of lefties in the lineup yesterday. And that's a good thing. You want them to get looks at lefties, especially in spring training. And you want these regular guys, Yellies and Freliks and these left-handed bats, to get, some looks at lefties. And so they're getting perfect game. It gets to the ninth inning. And by now, I'm emotionally invested. I'm emotionally involved. All I wanted, I don't care if it was a hit by pitch, break up the perfect game. Did not care. Hit by pitch. What happened with 2 outs in the ninth inning is that Cooper Pratt drew a walk. And I was vocal, very vocal on that. And for whatever reason, Tommy, the Brewer bug bit me yesterday in terms of emotion.
Yeah.
And that's why, I texted you. I was at a doctor's appointment. I texted you today and I asked you, was that Chad Patrick that got beat up? Because now I'm in.
Right.
Okay. We're talking next week, folks.
10
Brewers
days.
baseball starts next week. So you can officially say next week is the Brewer 26 championship season. So Pratt draws the walk and it brings up Blake Burke. And he's down one, I believe it was a 1-2 count. And at that point, now I'm just bust up the no-hitter. Just infield single would be great. A little blue base hit. And he rocks an RBI double. So in the span of 2 batters, with 1 out to go for a perfect game, Brewers spoiled the no-hitter, or they spoiled the perfect game, the no-hitter, and maybe most importantly, the shutout at that time.
You adopted the I'd take that mindset that we were talking about last week. It was Joey Ortiz 11 homers. Yeah, I'd take that.
I'll take that. 233 average.
Cooper
sure.
Pratt a walk. I'll take that right now. This is the Brewers baseball is just the I'll take that attitude that you keep bringing up. A little bit from Brewers prospect Blake Burke after breaking up the no-hitter yesterday.
It's spring training, but what's going through your mind in that situation? Your former coach, hurt no-hitter.
That was the first time I've been nervous at the plate for a while. I felt like I couldn't even feel my legs, but kind of just going in there, got a good report from Bogey and tried to put my best swing on it, and that's what happened.
Is that the environment? Is that the no-hitter?
I think it was just everything. I think it was the first time I've ever been part of being no hit or something like that, that deep into a game. But it was fun to be a part of and have the chance to get that at bat, because Cooper, if he got out there, wasn't going to get up, so he worked a good count, got a walk, and was able to hit.
Sometimes we say it's only spring training, but this is still competition, right?
Yeah, big crowd too, a ton of people here. Towards the end, they started to get fired up, and being up at the plate right there, facing a no-hitter, it's kind of why you play. You kind of get the energy and a little bit nervous, and it's good to get reps like that because you don't get much of that before the season starts. So it was cool to get up there.
That's your first time playing against Tony?
Yeah. I mean, if fall scrimmages count, then no, but yeah, that was my first time playing against him.
So even him being a little nervous for spring training with the bases, the no-hitter on the line, Tim.
I loved it because there still is that competitive part of that you don't want that against your team. I don't like that sort of exposure. Yeah. And now the Giants there in Scottsdale, Tommy, you and I didn't get a chance to get out to that stadium. It's a really cool stadium. He mentioned the crowd there, over 9,000 people at that game. It's in a beautiful portion of the metro area in Arizona, in Scottsdale. Everything's nice there. We did go to dinner one night in Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
But at 9,000 plus, it's not what we saw at Talking Stick in terms of, wow, look at this place. This is a spring training complex. Holy crap, look at this. It's more of a traditional sort of spring training stadium, but just the layout is super, super nice. Hopefully next year we'll get a chance to get to Scottsdale and see the Brewers take on the Giants. We were there some years ago. You remember the Prince celebration, I guess the explosion celebration or the bowling pin celebration, people call it a little bit different after a walk-off homer. I don't know if you recall that.
Yeah,
it was against the
Prince.
Giants. Yeah, from Prince. The following year, we were at Scottsdale Stadium to see the Brewers Giants in a Cactus League game, and they were not pleased with Prince Fielder.
Oh,
they were still throughout the whole offseason. They still, I think they came up and in on him, or if not hit him. But it wasn't a pleasant deal for Prince. Nice stadium there, but that was yesterday. The Brewers, struggled a little bit offensively, and Robbie Ray had things going. And now today against the Dodgers, figures Freddie Freeman. Before I went into the doctor, it was base hit up the middle, and everyone goes crazy. Yeah, great. That's the team to beat now, or isn't it? And when does the emotional side of things come in where you're really kind of stoked up and looking forward to Brewers baseball? For me, it ratcheted up yesterday. It switched gears. I'm Tommy, you know this, you and I, we're just always fired up for Brewers baseball. But really it switched gears yesterday because I didn't plan on being as vocal as I was for a Cactus League game. It just came out.
Well, usually whenever I hear highlights of grand slams.
Ryan's pitch. That was swung on, hit well to center deep. This ball heading back to the wall, and it is gone. That is a grand slam for Brandon Lockridge.
I'm the lady in the background, if you can't tell. Yeah. I'm always excited to hear something going on. She's right next to the mic the whole time. Let me see if I can just get her again. Where is she?
That is a grand slam.
She doesn't
from
stop.
Brandon Lockridge.
Right here.
That's Brandon Lockridge's mom in the background, I'm sure. But still, excited for sure, Tim. It's 10 days. I mean, that's right around the corner to where there are meaningful baseball games for this team. This is not Cactus League. It's not beginning of March. You hear the ramp up comments. You hear that, hey, it's go mode now. It's go mode. It's 10 days away.
Bell rings. Ready to go, championship season, opening day, Brewers are back, baseball is back. All of those terms start to really increase here in the next week and a half.
Tim,
and that's all it is.
Does no opening day starter get you a little bit frazzled right now?
They're waiting. The only thing I can think of without announcing is they want Woody in that role.
Right.
That's the only thing.
And I think he has one more outing before the season starts. So that's why they're going to see how he reacts after that one outing, right?
And if they do go with Woody, is the goal or bar going to be at 4 innings? I don't know if that's the appropriate way to go, although with off days, people have been asking me, Tommy, about a 6-man rotation.
Right.
And, quite frankly, I think that the better conversation would be, should it be a 4-man rotation?
I was going to say, you don't even sound confident with 5 right now, talking to you last segment. So why would you want to go to 6?
With the off days, you could, in theory, go with a 4-man rotation. And if that's the case, then that's the case. Probably with Woody and the youth in this rotation, I think they're going to go with a 5 and just get that extra day rest because of the off day. They'll still go with the 5-man and they'll get the extra day rest. So instead of 4 days rest, they're going to get 5 days rest.
Important we don't peak too soon.
It's important you don't peak too soon, is all I'm saying.
You don't want, no, you don't want to, but do you feel also, and I have nothing to go on with this, but do you feel that it will be a little slower go in a ramp up for Brewers fans and the hype around it throughout the state or the city of Milwaukee? Maybe?
No, I think everyone's even more excited to get into Brewers baseball this season because of the last 2 seasons now, Tim.
Okay, fair enough. And really, division titles, plenty. But I'm just wondering if that scarring from that Dodger exit, the Brewers exit against the Dodgers, might have impacted things a little bit. I hope not.
Did you feel that at the beginning of last season? Because I would say the Mets elimination was much more scarring than the Dodgers one.
I did. And then you throw on an 0-4 start.
Right. That was
on top of it.
That was bad. Yeah. The Yankee series did not help.
And so those two things coupled together, the way it ended, because it was almost the worst way you could end a season, is thinking you moved on and suddenly it's snatched from you. Instead of just losing 8-1 and it's the 7th or 8th inning, you're like, okay, that's fine. We'll move on to next year. That was thinking you were going to move on, and you lost to the Mets on the swing. So you coupled that with heading into a season in which you got decimated with injuries in the pitching department, and then you start out 0-4. That took a while to recover, Tommy. It did. I don't know if you felt that. We weren't working together at the time. But that took a little while last year to kind of snowball.
Well, and things really started to pick up in that July time period, right? When Woodruff got back and when Vaughn arrived, it was now Brewers baseball was extremely fun to watch. It was appointment television for most people, as you know, they were already getting kind of hot at the end of May. I think that May 25th was the date that everyone kept referring back to. From when they started out strong and then obviously closed out last season. But once July hit, I mean, everyone was in on Brewers baseball, right? You have the win streak that goes on. You have, Brandon, Caleb Durbin doing his thing, Bryce Terang taking his quantum leap. And then, of course, you get the return of Brandon Woodruff and the arrival of Andrew Vaughn during that same stretch. I just think that this year, like last year, you got a taste of success, right? This was the first time they won a playoff series since 2018. That was the mountaintop is near. You are very close. Now let's see this process build out throughout a regular season going into 2026.
So I don't think that the impact is as much with the Dodgers exit because of that playoff series victory over the Cubs.
Right, which was way more monumental to the wanting to watch Brewers baseball than I think the Dodgers would be to being put off to Brewers baseball.
Bullpen is good, folks. This offensive position player group is good, guys. Is the starting staff good enough here to have them compete at a high level in which they've been doing here the last several years? that is really, in a nutshell, what this ball club is all about.
And I think you're more concerned about the back end than you are the front end, right? If Woodruff's healthy, great. If Patrick is there, I love it. If Mizorowski is the 2 or the 3 in this rotation, I'm cool with it. It's those back end guys that you haven't seen yet, right? It's Harrison, it's Sproat, it's a possibility of Ashby.
Possibility of Ashby, possibility of Drowan, possibility of Rodriguez, Henderson, Gasser, or a free agent signing.
Well, it's getting a little late for a free agent signing here. I don't think Quintana even got signed this late.
No, he was
early March,
May. I'm sorry, March. Yeah, March 6th, 5th, 7th, somewhere in there last year.
March 5th is what it looks like.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're right at the cusp here. If not, they slide their chips in and say, hey, look, we've got a good bullpen. We've got a good position player group. We're still ascending in those departments because I certainly believe the offense is still ascending. And then it's going to be, can these guys keep us in games? And in that, we trust Chris Hook.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, one of the better names for a pitching coach you're ever going to find, one of the better names in sports for his duties that you're ever going to find, it would be akin to a running back, Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that you couldn't tailor. That can't be his real
You
name.
must never have heard of Cutter Throwhard.
There you go.
Fake name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or how about Bob Walk, who was a pitcher?
That's probably a bad name.
In the big, that would be not a good name.
No, bad name.
But Gainwell's good. The kicker for the Chargers many years ago, Blewett. That was his last name. No chance.
No chance.
That can't be real.
Yeah, it's like my first name is Dumpster, my last name is Fire.
Fire,
after
right?
All of it.
Right. And our guy Lou James Groover. Can we do an update on our boy Lou James Groover?
Let me see what James is up to.
He's a Diamondbacks guy. Lou James Groover might be the coolest name on record.
Lou James Groover, 309 average. Oh, that was last
there you
year.
Go.
Wait. This year in spring, I got to find Lou James Groover right now because last year he was a 309 hitter. This year, okay, 341 with an 894 OPS, man.
There you go.
Lou James Groover, he's in a groove right now for sure.
The Brewers should pick him up. What position is he?
He's listed as a third baseman. I mean, they might need him.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Look at that. There's also the late. I think he's the late last name Beerbrot. I may have made the proclamation that the Brewers, in order to win a World Series, they just have to trade for that guy.
Yeah, him or Lou James, whichever one, whoever works.
I forgot his first name, the Beerbrot guy. I think that's the way you pronounce it.
Beerbrot is how you pronounce his last name?
I believe so, yeah. Giants, I want to say.
Spelled the same? Like
no, maybe a little different variation than B-E-E-R Brot.
All right, I'm going to put an I in there and let's see if something pops up.
Yeah, I think a Giants reliever, I want to say.
I don't got him yet. I don't got him.
Okay. But again,
I got him. Nick. Was his first name Nick?
It sounds familiar.
Beerbrot.
Yeah, it was Beerbrot though.
Yeah. I got it. Beerbrot.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I got him.
Is he still alive? Did I get the wrong information?
I don't see him. He hasn't pitched since 2004.
Okay, so we've reached new highs. Tim Allen has put somebody in the grave.
I'm looking. I have him as alive still.
Okay.
I have him as alive.
Dead or alive. Nick Beerbrot.
He is still kicking right now. I think as of we've done the opposite on this show already. So shout out Rob Peacholo.
That's true. All right. World Baseball Classic. We'll get you up to speed as the scenario for Team USA. Bryce Terang heading into yesterday's win was 7 for 15. That's a good run. Has he landed on the map here nationally? Getting close. Aaron Judge had some cool things to say about Bryce Terang as well. All right, we'll take a break, come back. Jack Stern, Brewer fanatic, covers the Brewers well, I would say like nobody else, but a lot of people cover the Brewers very well. Kurt Hogue, Todd Rosiak, Adam McCalvey, but Jack Stern right in the midst there. We'll talk with him in just a couple of minutes. Stick around. It's another edition of Hot Stove Weekly, live in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Didn't fall far from the tree either.
Oh, he hits this one well to left center field. It's got a chance, and it is gone. Brady Ebel with a home run for Milwaukee. Against the Dodgers.
Well, if Pop is watching.
Oh, yeah, I hope his dad is watching. I'm sure he is, because now the Brewers are starting to just pour it on. We're gonna feel so much better about that NLCS loss because of this one game right here. I'm kidding.
After we just talked last, we had updated. It was 10-7 Brewers over the Dodgers. They had a 10-run fifth inning. Well, the sixth inning, not much going on. They did not score. However, in the seventh, 9 additional runs for the Milwaukee Brewers, including that Brady Abel homer that you just heard, courtesy of MLB Network. They have 19 runs on 13 hits right now, Tim.
There you go. I love that. And so who's having the big day? I mean, some of these guys, well, they're going to start. They probably already have.
Brandon Lockridge is 3 for 5 with that grand slam today. Jet Williams, he also has 2 hits, including this RBI hit earlier in the contest.
Would have been a different scenario. Runner goes from first, and that ball hit into center field for a base hit. Milwaukee's going to get on the scoreboard. Ortiz will come in and score. Jet Williams drives in a run with a hit.
Jet Williams.
Yeah, you had a Joey Ortiz fan in the background there.
There's not many of them out there. It's kind of like finding the dodo bird or whatever.
It's my cousin because I'm now a Joey O fan.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to hear this Joey O stuff when we talk a little bit about the WBC in the fifth segment of this show. However, we did want to bring up today Venezuela at Italy. That one is tonight on Fox Sports 1. And then the championship going to be either the U.S. Versus Italy or Venezuela. And that will be at 7:00 on Fox tomorrow night.
Mason Miller closed that out yesterday, and that was not a strike.
No, it was not a strike.
And then it begs the question, does the World Baseball Classic adopt the ABS?
No, I don't want to hear it, Tim. I don't want to hear it. I'm over it. It was the wrong call. And for those of you who don't remember it, it sounded something like this.
Here it is. The United States takes down the powerhouse that is the Dominican Republic.
Can we not pretend like it was David versus Goliath and Paul Skeens was on the mound and the rest of the team full of all-stars everywhere too?
Yeah, no question. So the final game tomorrow is going to be on Big Fox.
Big
correct?
Fox.
Yeah, that'll be cool. USA going after the World Baseball Classic title. All right, yeah, we'll get into a little more of how the Olympics might be affected by a potential work stoppage. I want to talk to Jack Stern about that as well from Brewer Fanatic. We'll get everything Brewers as we continue. Hot Stove Weekly live here in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. There's Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen. Brewers up 19-7 in Cactus League action over the Dodgers as we speak. We'll keep you updated on that. I know you're hanging on the edge of your seat, but stick around. Still more to come.
Hey Brewers fans, we know it can get real cold outside. So let's warm you up with the latest on the crew. It's time for Hot Stove Weekly on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. It's time to focus on the 2026 championship season. Get the latest on free agent signings, trades, the front office, and the fans. It's Hot Stove Weekly with Tommy Wirtz. Here's the franchise Tim Allen.
Hour number 2 of Hot Stove Weekly. There's Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen talking Brewers baseball. We are getting real close. I love when the calendar is your friend. The weather certainly is not. Mother Nature with some muscle here before she turns things over to some summertime weather. But it is now you can officially say, quote, next week is the home opener for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the season opener for the 26th championship season. Officially, now we can say next week.
Sure doesn't feel like it when you look outside today.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Not at all. Okay, real quick before we get to Jack Stern. I was going through, some of the baseball cards that we grabbed out there in Arizona. One of my favorite cards here was one that we picked up in the airport.
Oh, yes.
And you may say, airport, do they sell cards? Well, they might at some gift shop. I doubt it, but they might. We were in TSA line, and just somebody behind us asked us if, hey, you guys Brewer fans? We're like, we are. He's like, oh, I play for the Brewers. It's okay. Well, it's spring training, and it's the middle of the day. Shouldn't you be at work? What are we doing here? Did you just get cut? Who knows? No, but it was one of the Brewer draft choices from last year. We're going to keep our eyes on him and not let him really fly too much under the radar, Tommy. Josh Flores, who was their 4th-round pick, while Tommy was getting accosted by TSA.
No, me. What do you mean? They swap. They first. Okay, time out from the Josh Flores part of the story. Hey, go ahead and walk through the metal detector instead of going through the giant spinny one, guys. Oh, the one that no one's going through? Perfect. This will be an easy transition. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, you guys are the one random check that we have now here. Yeah. What are you talking about? How did we go from there that we were the random check now on top of this?
You
when
pulled
we were
us
the
out
only
of line.
ones.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. And I think Jack's calling back here in a second too, just so we're aware. But I couldn't believe that was the one check we had. And we were going to get a picture with Josh until we got randomly checked. Then they swabbed our hands. Mine were fine. Apparently yours were did you rub Gasoline on your hands beforehand?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
It did bother me because that's the first time I've failed that test. My hands have been swabbed a lot at TSA, and it passes every time. So I looked into some shampoos.
Okay,
hair shampoos have this glycerin in them, which has been known to tip off the hand swab.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with our next guest, Jack Stern, but sure looks like he would be a shampoo expert based on his hair. Welcome on in from Brewer Fanatic, Jack Stern. Jack, what kind of shampoo do you use?
Usually, this is going to surprise you. I just grab some of the cheaper kind of stuff that I can find at the store. The difference is though, I usually try to get some higher grade conditioner to use on top of it. That's usually the key.
Of course.
Nice.
Of course.
Nice. Yeah. Just to finish up that story. So we all checked out okay on TSA, and Josh was nice enough. Josh Flores, the Brewers draft choice, who's was headed to Chicago. Yeah. To get his surgery. We need to keep our eyes on a really, really super nice guy. He handed each a couple of baseball cards signed.
Yeah.
Baseball cards. That was really, really neat of Josh Flores.
It was cool for sure.
Yeah. Jack Stern, Brewer Fanatic. He joins us here on Hot Stove Weekly. Jack, how about today's game? Look at this. 19-run output last we checked. They were down 7-zip, then to a 10 spot in the 5th. Offensively, I want to get your thoughts on that. Offensively, your confidence level for me real quick, I think it's good. This offense is good, and I think it's got some ceiling to it. But your barometer here on this Brewers offense heading into this campaign next week.
Yeah, so I would say I feel pretty similarly about this group compared to last year because it is, for the most part, the same group that they're bringing back. It's basically just not Caleb Durbin in the lineup. And as useful as Caleb Durbin was, I do think that is a fairly replaceable bat. You're trying to replace a guy who was basically a league average hitter, could get on base pretty well, didn't hit for a ton of pop, maybe a little bit of doubles power. But it's still kind of, for me, like, similar to last year. They had plenty of offensive upside last year. I just think they didn't quite tap into some of the raw power that a lot of these guys have, whether that's Jackson Churio, whether it's a healthy Garrett Mitchell, William Contreras, those kinds of guys who have the ability to hit for a little more slug and hit for a little more upside. So it's kind of a similar question for me this year. How close are some of these guys going to come to tapping into a little bit more of that ceiling? Because I do think you're right. This is a group that, at the very least, we know they're probably going to do what they did last year. And then kind of projecting it forward, are they going to be able to get into a little bit more of that ceiling that you're talking about?
Well, Jack, last year the Brewers hit 166 homers. League average was 188. I'll ask you both, do you think they will be A, more than that number of 166, and B, will they be above whatever the league average number on the home run side is?
So I think they're going to hit more than last year, but I think they're probably going to be right around that league average instead of being under it. So, I think if you get enough guys on this group who maybe don't have that full scale breakout, but if you get a few more home runs from a healthy Jackson Churio, maybe a few more home runs at first base with a full season of both Andrew Vaughn and Jake Bauers, who I think is going to have himself a pretty nice season based on what he showed in the second half last year. To get a little bit more power from those guys, a fuller season of Bryce Terang having figured out that power stroke that we saw in the second half. All of that stuff, I think that's probably going to be good for, maybe an extra 20 home runs or so for this group. And that's probably not going to put them near the top of the league or anything, but I think it's going to have them keeping better pace with the league average in that department.
I'm with you. And I don't see how they don't go up in home runs. Jackson Churio, as you said, is going to hit more. You are going to get a full season of Andrew Vaughn. If he's anything close to the Andrew Vaughn we saw in a Brewers uniform last year, there's a bunch of home runs. We're forgetting about William Contreras, who's going to hit way more than he hit last year with a busted finger. Sal Frelick's going to probably hit 2 or 3 more. Bryce Terang has a little more ceiling in there, maybe a 3 or 4 or 5 home run increase. I think you're on it. I think it's fair to say that 185 mark is right around where the Brewers are going to sit. Now, on the other side, Jack Stern, Brewer fanatic. I know it's spring training. I know it's Cactus League. But I don't want these pitchers to get beat up as bad as they are. I get working on some sort of pitches and just sticking with that, and the results are what they are. But Chad Patrick, Kyle Harrison, Drowan, some of the Mizorowski to a degree, although he's been okay. Some of these guys are getting beat on a little bit too hard for my liking. What about you?
I think what I care more about is how does the stuff look? And for a lot of these guys, it still looks pretty good. It looks good for Miz. It's looked great for Kyle Harrison. It's looked great for Shane Drowan. Patrick's velo has been down a little bit, which is maybe something to watch, but he's always historically been kind of a slow starter there, and he builds up a little more velo as the season
but on
goes
Patrick,
through.
Jack, real quick, on Patrick, though, don't you think some of that increased velo last year was just in the moment adrenaline? Because 97, he was gassing 97 last year down the stretch and into the postseason.
I think the 97 was more of a bullpen thing, but he was also sitting 95 as a starter by the time that they made that move late in the year. So he did kind of build it up as the weather got warmer and as he just got a little bit more experience. But I do largely just go back to, as someone who granted at a lower level in college. Like I work a lot with pitch sequencing, and I can see how much that stuff matters and how much that swings the outcome of an at-bat. These guys are doing things a lot differently in a lot of these games, and they will once the regular season comes. And we even see it with the veteran guys sometimes, like Freddie Peralta last year got absolutely demolished in his final spring training start, had one of the better opening day starts a few days later. Yes, he had one of the better opening day starts that the Brewers have had from a starter in a couple of years, just a few days after that. So it's just such a different environment that unless there's something glaring with like the velo and the way the ball is moving, those are really the two things that would kind of raise my eyebrow a little bit more. I'm not really seeing a ton of that with these guys, though, so I'm not too concerned.
Jack Stern joining us here. You can follow him on Twitter @byJackStern. So we've seen a couple of predictions out right now of looking ahead at what the Brewers' 26-man opening day roster is going to be. And really the only differences we have seen has come from that starting rotation, Jack. So I don't know if you're working up any sort of story here, so I won't blatantly ask you if you would predict that starting rotation. But the real question seems to be Aaron Ashby or Brandon Sproat. Now, you just made the trade for Sproat, obviously with Freddie Peralta going to the New York Mets. And Aaron Ashby's a guy who's had some experience in the starting rotation. What direction would you lean, and what direction do you think the Brewers lean on what would happen within that first week, getting that fifth start? Do you think it is more likely to be a guy like an Aaron Ashby who has some starter experience but really excelled in the bullpen last year? Or do they want to see what they have with a guy like Sproat?
I'm going to say probably Brandon Sproat. I think that really to make a compelling case for Aaron Ashby, it would have needed to be, number one, just enough guys going down from the rotation mix in spring training, and then some of those next guys up maybe not showing quite enough. So for Brandon Sproat, maybe that would mean the stuff just wasn't quite there. The things that they were working on just weren't quite there yet. But every time that he's been on the mound, the velo's been awesome. It's been playing up in spring training. The cutter that he's developed has looked really, really good. I think that a lot of things are just trending far enough in the right direction where if I'm the Brewers, I would rather just pencil him into that rotation as opposed to maybe sending him down for a couple of AAA starts and giving Aaron Ashby some outings. I think that with where things stand right now, I would just plug Sproat into that mix. You know that Ashby can give you a little bit of length out of the bullpen if you need it, especially if you get some short starts early on. But with where things stand right now, I would be a little bit surprised if they go a different direction of trying to make Aaron Ashby a little bit more of a traditional starter out of the gates.
With Harrison, with Patrick, with Sproat, with Mizorowski, the young rotation, does the talent itself supersede the youth? Because a lot of times in baseball, as you know, Jack, Tommy, you don't just burst onto the scene as a young starter. That's a grind, and your goal is to get 28 to 32 starts, and that is such a grind, and it's such a growing process that a lot of times you have to be patient with that. Does the talent, however, do they see enough talent to just override that growing pain mentality of a young staff?
So I think it's not so much the talent level of each of these starters, but the amount of talent they've assembled, the number of these kind of guys that they've brought in. Pat Murphy talked about this a lot when I was down in spring training last month about how the way this works now, part of the growing pains for these young guys is that they're probably not going to be great for 32 starts. They're probably not giving you 200 innings. Not a lot of guys give you 200 innings at all anymore. But they've brought in so many of these kind of guys to account for that. And when I look at the talent, that's really where it starts to make a difference for me, like the amount of talent that they've brought in. So you don't necessarily need Brandon Sproat to figure things out enough to give you 30 amazing starts. You don't need Logan Henderson to give you 30 amazing starts. You don't need Chad Patrick to give you 30 amazing starts. If each of those guys can give you maybe more in that neighborhood of 15 to 20 really good outings, and whether it's they hit some struggles or maybe they struggle with the durability a little bit and you need to kind of ease off of them for a little bit, I think they have enough guys where they can do that and they can kind of be next one of these young guys up to get another opportunity. So between the kind of coaching staff the Brewers have, just all of the development resources that they give these young pitchers, I'm feeling pretty good about what they're going to get out of that group as a whole. From one guy to the next, it gets a little bit harder to say, but I think that by the end of the season, the staff-wide numbers, the amount of production they get, the ability to just fill the innings that they need to fill, I do think it's going to be there, and I don't think the youth is going to be a very big concern.
Jack, do you have quantum leap candidates that you look at? Because we've made a couple of predictions here on this show. I know David Hamilton was Pat Murphy's pick. Tim really likes what Kyle Harrison can do as well. Maybe Joey Ortiz, depending on whenever you talk to him, because he's just buying so low on stock. But I'm really excited to see a bunch of these different guys. I was wondering if you have someone in mind that you think quantum leap could be a real candidate.
Maybe just to go for a little bit more of a surprising pick, like I'm starting to have a hard time like keeping myself calmed down about Brandon Lockridge, because the Brewers really, really thought highly of him when they traded for him last year, like almost kind of in a confusing way. I think a lot of people, myself included, were kind of struggling to understand, like, why do they like this guy so much? Yes, he's fast. Yes, he's a good defender, but like he doesn't hit for a lot of power. Over the winter, I went back and I actually watched some video of when he was a younger prospect in the Yankee system, and I saw that there was a time where he was turning on balls and hitting them really, really far, pulling them in the air and hitting for legitimate power. He's come out in spring training and he's done a lot of that again. So just kind of what we had heard about how the Brewers liked him, knowing a little bit more about what his past scouting report looked like and what he used to be capable of before he kind of focused more on that ground ball, speedy, get on base kind of approach to hitting. And now seeing the way that he's hit some balls in spring training, including today, I'm really starting to see the vision here a little bit. And I'm wondering if he's going to be a guy who ends up taking a lot of playing time in center field, and another guy who maybe you don't see it right off the bat, but the Brewers end up being right about.
Well, I feel like his only competition is Blake Perkins, right? How else? They're not going to keep 5 outfielders, right, Jack?
Right. And interestingly on Perkins too, like I'm not quite sure how much to read into this, but he's really not playing a ton of center field compared to some of these other guys. Like Lockridge is getting center field reps. Churrio's gotten a little bit. Mitchell is getting some. Like I am kind of starting to wonder, like, where exactly does Blake Perkins fit on this mix? You know, he's a guy that the Brewers like. Pat Murphy loves him, but he missed a lot of time last year. The bat has been okay as a 4th outfielder, but never great. His defense was still fine last year, but when he came back from that injury, he clearly wasn't quite the same guy. You have Lockridge in that mix now, who almost kind of starts to feel more like the next Blake Perkins. So I am curious to see where he fits and how that all kind of shakes out. But I do think things are looking pretty good for Lockridge right now in that mix.
That is wild. I love that choice. I do, because that's, you know, that's not a chalk pick. That's a guy that may not even break camp with the club, yet he's a quantum leap candidate. I'm going to go again. I have very few quantum leap candidates, but one of my guys is now going to be Jet Williams as well. And he's not going to break camp with the club either. I think you're going to see Jet Williams this year. Okay. A couple of things here real quick for you, Jack. Let me ask you this on your thoughts on the CBA. Bruce Meyer is now the interim head, taking over for Tony Clark. I was reading some quotes here the other day that said that the league is going to get together sometime targeting April or May. Now, as an old crotchety old man at times, what are we waiting for? Can I just ask you guys this? What are we waiting for? Why are we not talking? Because everyone's sorry about that. Everyone just says it's inevitable that there's going to be a work stoppage. And look, I have skin in the game. I've got a job to do. I don't get paid if there's no baseball. So maybe that's why I'm emotional. But why aren't they talking now? And what would be the impact now? You're hearing rumors trickle out about it affecting the Olympics in 2028.
Well, to be completely honest, what they're waiting for is one side or both sides to feel the heat a little bit and kind of chicken off of their stance, because that's just the only way that anything gets done here, because both of these camps they have some very, very strong opinions on the money side of baseball and where the money's going and kind of what's the best way to ensure competitive balance. Does there need to be a salary cap? Is that good for baseball? Is that bad for the players? Both sides have such strong opinions on that right now that nobody's actually going to give anything. Nobody's actually going to truly negotiate here until there's a lot of pressure, until basically you're looking at the threat of missing games. I think that's what it's going to have to take for anything to get done. And whether that's the players feel more pressure from losing games, whether it's the owners feel more pressure from losing games because that means they're not making money from those games, I don't know. But that's kind of just how these things go. And it's unfortunate, but both of these sides, I fully expect they're going to dig their heels in, and nobody's going to budge until it really starts to become a situation where the game might be damaged. So we're heading for a lockout. I think it's going to be an ugly lockout, but I think what it's going to take is we're going to have to get really, really close to the buzzer, just like last time. And then all of a sudden there's a ton of movement right at the end, right as there's that threat of missing games. And then we get, I would guess, if not an entirely full season next year, pretty darn close to it, because I do think once that pressure kind of kicks up, that's when you're actually going to start to see a little bit of progress on the negotiating table.
Well, we'll see what happens, Jack, for sure.
I don't, we're grown individuals here. Take man or woman aside. We're grown individuals here. You know this is coming, and I get it, Jack. It's a good point, and I understand through negotiations, it is pressure toward a finish line that does get some results. But my goodness, why can't you start dotting some I's, crossing some T's on some things you agree with?
Well, and
how about start there so you can just forget about that during the heavy duty stuff?
Plus, Manfred, I feel like has been such a polarizing commissioner during this, right? Because as far as his attitude, and he's a commissioner, he's put into a position where everyone's going to hate him already. And like, look at Goodell or Silver, whoever, and then he's done so many good things for the game, right? A la pitch clock, bigger bases. Some people are going to like this ABS system, some are not. However it is, like, this could really tarnish his legacy right at the end if there was jeopardy of any baseball being missed. Jack, you got anything you're working on over at Brewer Fanatic you want to plug for the people?
I was actually working on something earlier today talking about how maybe just based on some things we're seeing in spring training, we might see the Brewers, at least some Brewers, kind of pitch guys a little differently than we saw in the past, maybe working in a little bit more breaking stuff. I've seen a lot of guys in camp kind of working on sweeping sliders, which is not a pitch they've thrown a lot the last couple of years. And then pretty soon here, they're going to be back in Milwaukee, and they're going to be finishing out that exhibition schedule up here. So it'll give me a chance to actually talk to some more guys again, see what's going on, and have a little bit more regular content from there.
That is cool. Jack Stern, Brewer Fanatic. We appreciate the time, and we're all, as Brewer fans, getting to know your work, man. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
All right, there he is on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I get worked up about this because
feisty.
I don't want the simple things to be more difficult.
Get it?
Go in there. What would you think of Manfred if Manfred just came out and said, hey, man, we're going to start on negotiations right now. We've been working on some things that we can both agree on, and we're putting those aside. We're putting those in the done basket. These things are done, so we don't have to deal with the heavy duty stuff that's a little more difficult. I mean, he'd look like a saint if he did that.
Well, unfortunately, his main priority is ownership, not fandom.
And then you throw in a big piece of money pie.
Yeah,
that everyone's just fighting over this big pile of money.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big pile of money. And instead, they're going to throw a match on it and burn it all.
With
just
lawyers.
Stupid.
How else would we have lawyers for these people, Tim? They wouldn't have any money for the lawyers.
Well, I mean, I get there's some legal ease involved here, and it's not an easy thing. But in terms of just sitting down and talking, I don't understand that part. Oh, all right. World Baseball Classic. Are you into it? No? Yeah? And who's one of those players that we're not even aware of that may not even break camp? You heard Jack Stern talk about Brandon Lockridge. I talked about Jet Williams. Maybe Tommy has one or two that we're not really thinking they're going to break camp, but big impact on the 2026 championship season. We're moving along here. It's Hot Stove Weekly, another edition. Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. All right, welcome back. Hot Stove Weekly, talking Brewers baseball. Oh, man, the 26th championship season is next week. I don't know where the calendar confused people, but Tommy, let me ask you, do you consider the start of the week a Monday?
I know, no. I'm going to say no. But on the 7th day he rests would lead you to believe Monday starts the week, right?
It just isn't that reset. Now a new week starts. That's the way I've looked at it, but I know on the calendar it's laid out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. But we can officially say next week the championship season gets underway. And at American Family Field, the pageantry of opening day, this is like a Wisconsin holiday. It really is. And probably to some degree it should be, because it's just, I don't know, there's so many things involved with that, this connection with the Brewer fan base and the team. There's this, baseball is back. That means better weather is on the way. We like events where we can eat and drink.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may be a key here too.
Huge.
Tailgating capital of the world is in Milwaukee, and I don't know, maybe there's another tailgating environment that ranks up there I'm not aware of, but I think the Milwaukee Brewers have just always been noted to be that tailgating, and they do it at other parks, and I understand that, but man, it is next week, and we're talking about it. Nicolay Law Talking text line, if you guys want to jump in here, 414-677-1250. There's Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen. Can we get an update on that Brewer game? I didn't during the break. I didn't check during the break. They were up 19-7 at one point.
Top of 9 right now, 19-9. Brandon Lockridge did speak. I think we can get you guys that before we end the show as well here too.
And a big day for Brandon Lockridge. And does he have a chance to make the team? And your leap candidates, do you have anybody, Tommy, before we go to the phones?
Well, I think when we did this question, I had done the cop out of Churio because I think he could ascend into 30-30 category, you know? Sure. So we know what Churio is, but him and Miz are kind of my two guys to take that super next step into I have arrived in the big leagues right now. But if I have to go with someone who I'm going to say Jake Bauers. Why not? I can say Jake Bauers.
Just off the radar to the point where Jake Bauers plays. Or how about this? To make that leap for a Jake Bauers, what if I told you he started X amount of games? So what would that entail? You know he's making a leap with offensive metrics if he starts how many games?
Well, let me just double check from what he started last year. He got into 85 games last year. That's not just from starting all of them. If he starts 85 games, that would be better.
Oh, if he starts 85 games, something really good is going on with Bauers.
I think so, man. I'm telling you, he could be. We have to get to the phone. We have to get to the phone because I got into it with this next caller about this exact same situation where I had said, Tim, I think Jake Bauers is going to play more games in left field this year than Christian Yelich is.
I would agree with that.
Well, let's welcome in Ken in the Falls, Beer Count Kenny.
Crack one open.
Ken, you think that's a crazy statement?
Well, speaking about tailgating.
Nice.
Yeah. It's absolutely not here. Plus, the Brewers, you're not going to see Jake Bauers playing more games in the outfield. Jake Bauers was so unsettled in the outfield, it wasn't even funny. It was troubling to watch him play the outfield. So he struggled out there. The Brewers have a plethora of guys that can play the outfield, including guys you haven't even talked about, like an Akil Baddoo, like a Luis Laura. Nobody's even talking about these guys. They're all coming up. Here, you got Cooper Pratt, who's going to play in the infield, more than likely Jet Williams. You got to get rid of this turd at shortstop. If this offense is going to be productive, you cannot have the shortstop we have, knowing we have prospects that can play and come up and play right away, get an opportunity to get their feet wet. You know, Jet Williams, who else you got? Oh, yeah, Jesus Mate. Oh, yeah, you got Cooper Pratt. Those guys can play. And
so if I told you, Kenny, if I told you that Joey Ortiz would hit 233, 11 homers, and knock in 48 runs, would you take it?
Absolutely not. He'd be on the first flow boat. I couldn't even tell you where I'd send him. I have no confidence in this guy at all. I'm so tired of hearing about Joey Ortiz. He was just like your other guy. Remember who you used to always advocate for at second base that you thought was just going to be the
Keston Hira.
Yeah, oh my God, I hate that name too.
My man, the K train.
I still believe in Keston Hira. I mean,
come on, you guys. I mean, this is the same. I put Ortiz in that same boat. It's time to move on. If you're going to win a World Series, you can't have a guy hitting just over 200 at shortstop. You know the last shortstop that we had that not only could play defense but could hit. You remember that guy?
Hardy?
Yes, 262. But I'm going to tell you something. Look how many years ago that was. It's time to stop messing around with a great defensive shortstop that can't hit. You got to have both.
It's no put up reason. Or shut up year. It is for Joey Ortiz. There's no doubt about that. And I think it might be a put up or shut up first 2.5 months for Joey Ortiz.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say the first 30 to 45 days, if you're still seeing 200 and Murph sticks with this guy, then they should fire Murph.
Okay.
Jesus, you can't keep sticking with this guy.
Ken, quantum leap candidate, and then I'll let you go. You got anyone you're looking at?
Who is he?
You know what? I got to be honest. I really, really like this kid, Jet Williams. There's just something about him. He's got the moxie, but the one we're not talking about that I also like is the Fisher kid.
Man, I love that dude.
Yeah, Fisher's fun.
This offense this year, Tim and Tommy, is going to be an offense like we've never seen. I said this to you, Tommy, the other day when I was talking to you and Mitch. This offense is going to be so exciting. You're not going to see all of these guys sitting at second and third or bases loaded and nobody getting in. This team has it's got a different feel about them this year. That's just incredible.
It's going to need it. They're going to need it.
Well, they are. You have to hear. If you're going to get to the World Series, if you're going to win a pennant, you got to have offense. You can't do what you did when you went and you played L.A. after beating the Cubs. The Cubs in the division this year, not worried about them. The team I am concerned about, St. Louis. St. Louis, I think it's
come on.
A full-scale rebuild.
Come on.
I mean, if anybody, I thought he was going to say the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah. That's what I thought.
You watch that organization always seems to pull a rabbit out of their hat with pitching. They always seem to find a way to get it done. Do not be afraid of the Cubs. Do not be afraid
mark
of
the tape, Tommy. Right. Just mark the tape.
The Cardinals. Yeah, Ken, thanks for the call, man. All right.
Kenny will be in touch on a lot of things. Man.
Yes. Can't wait.
Oh boy. St. Louis. I would have bet $1 million he was about to say the Cincinnati Reds.
There's a chance if you told me that Jake Bauers would be the best player on the St. Louis Cardinals this year, I'd believe it. I'm just saying, if it was going to be, if it was going to be anything, I could believe that Jake Bauers has the best season possible on the St. Louis Cardinals with what they got rocking this year. And I know I'm the Jake Bauers guy, but you give Jake 160 games in a St. Louis Cardinals uniform, he might have the best year of anyone on their team. He might.
His at-bats this spring, man, have been just beautiful. You look at not the numbers, the amount of pitches, the deep and heavy counts he's going into. You might be onto something.
How many Milwaukee Brewers hit above 262 last year, Tim?
Ooh.
If you had to take a guess.
3.
Well, if you take out the unqualified Monasterio and Vaughn, you have Sal Frelick, Bryce Terang, Jackson Churio, Yelich, and Isaac Collins.
5.
So that's 5.
Hey, I remember doing shows where years ago, let's do an update on batting averages. And we just list the batting average in the box score of the Brewers opponent that night and the Brewers team. It was, guys, oh my goodness. Those of you may remember some of those shows. It's 228 here. It's 227 here. Oh, there we go. We got a 251. There's a 252. And then it's like 219. And then there's 208. It has been a remarkable difference offensively for this team, and it'll continue. We'll talk more, a couple of more minutes on the other side of the break, talking Brewers baseball, Hot Stove Weekly, live right here in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Final couple of minutes talking Brewers baseball tonight on Hot Stove Weekly. There's Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen, Joey Ortiz, the aforementioned. There's better in this kid than what we've seen offensively. Is that a fair statement? I think it is. Let's find out. This season, he played in the World Baseball Classic, and he had these words to say about that experience.
How do you sum up that experience?
It was great. I mean, the games were like playoff experiences that I've had, and every game was electric. It felt like every game was important because it is, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
You've had those playoff experiences. What was it like having them in March?
It's good. I feel like, I mean, it felt like it got me into like a kind of a season routine early, and get some meaningful games in. It was pretty cool.
Did that USA game feel comparable to like any of the playoff games you've been in?
I would probably say it was pretty similar to playing the Cubs last year. I mean, those games were pretty electric, and that one was up there for sure.
Whoa, like playing the Cubs, Tim.
This may help Joey Ortiz get off to a little bit of a better start. I think feeling that intensity, that it's go mode, as they say, right away here in March, and he's been gone for a couple of weeks here throughout the process, but wow, this may help Joey Ortiz. We'll see. The best thing for the Brewers is for Joey Ortiz to have a great season offensively.
Yes.
Now, some would say, well, that elbows Jet Williams out of commission here. No. There are strength in numbers even on the position player group side. So let's hope Joey Ortiz does have a good year offensively.
Little update also. This game is still going on, Tim. They just put up another 3 runs in the top of the 9th. The Brewers leading 22-9 over the Los Angeles Dodgers.
There you go.
Yes.
That makes me feel better.
Yes.
22 spot over the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, it's there's a 2-point conversion and 3 field goals in this one, in case you were wondering.
Oh, my goodness. Brandon Lockridge had a big day and is having a good spring and looks good. We had Jack Stern of BrewerFanatic.com talk about that a little bit. Brandon Lockridge with a big day today, Tommy.
Brandon, I know results are not always the thing, but what has led, do you think, to these results?
I think the offseason work. I was able to put some weight on. Made some swing mechanics changes, trying to use my body a little bit better. And then I think the confidence I got from last year a little bit kind of played into there. Had a little bit more success here when I came over to the Brewers than with the Padres. And then obviously the team environment, it's a fun place to play. I think a lot of that goes into it as well. So comfortability, but a little bit of all that.
What are some of the swing mechanical changes, if you could break it down for?
Okay, so kind of the gist of it is like posture related, kind of getting my lower half working a little bit more than just hands. I've always kind of been a contact guy, so that's to my strength, and it should be to my strength. But being aggressive early in the count, especially in hitters counts and stuff, there's, I'd want to. I'm kind of been shortchanging myself, I guess you can say. Shooting singles the other way early in counts when you get a good pitch to hit, try to do some damage with it. And, I guess that's basically the gist of it.
Is that kind of just your profile for a while because of the speed you feel like you kind of just?
Yeah, I mean, there was like early in the minor leagues, I hit, double-digit homers a couple of years, like kind of tried to be somebody that I wasn't. And by no means am I trying to hit home runs right now, but I think fixing some posture stuff and, cleaning up bat path is a big thing. So I'm actually able to elevate the ball a little bit better. I've always hit the ball hard. It's just a matter of getting in the air. So, a couple years ago, I kind of adjusted and was like, okay, I got to stop striking out. So as a result, I got flat, just kind of tried to shoot the ball around, steal bases. And I think that helped me get to the big leagues, but it's just not very sustainable. So
what have you learned, over the years, whether Yankees, San Diego, whatever, of, hey, this is my spring training, this is what I need to do, regardless of whatever the roster result ends up being? What have you learned? How's that been different?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. You put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're younger to, try to perform, and that honestly never works out well. So I think just with age and time of, spring after spring, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself and live with the results. I know I put the work in the offseason, and, I think that's worked out well this year.
Tim, I will say this. That was Brandon Lockridge speaking about his day today. In case you missed it, Brewers up 24-9. Now, every time you blink, the score changing. And it was behind a big day from Brandon Lockridge, 3 for 5 with a grand slam today. 3 runs scored as well in the contest. Tim, the Brewers could do something really funny and make you happy and make fans a lot happier too. They could completely win the Nestor Cortez trade by signing Nestor Cortez, who's currently a free agent right now too, as the guy who's the veteran at the back end for you.
Or as I'm listening to Brandon Lockridge there and hearing talk about Blake Perkins and some of the outfield prospects coming up and Jake Bowers and everything, instead of signing a free agent pitcher on the beach right now, how about a trade for Matt Arnold? You do have some capital to make a trade to get another starter in here if you chose to do that.
Could Blake Perkins be on the trade block?
I guess it's possible. That would have to be cleared through his father, Pat Murphy.
Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, the other thing that jumped out at me, Brandon Lockridge there, hitters counts. Is there such a thing in baseball anymore? It used to be 3-1, 2-2-0. You're getting dead red fastball 8 or 9 out of 10 times. I don't know if that's true anymore.
I think
ask Christian Yelich what he gets on a 3-1.
It's just something to ground out to second base. Like that's
oh yeah. Okay, number 43 on your scorecard. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Hey, be on the lookout for more programming information on as to how we're gonna get you ready for the 26 championship season. Next week is opening day on Thursday. We'll get you ready probably Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll give you some information on where we're going to be when we're out and about. So stick around for that. We'll be releasing that information really, really soon. So that's going to do it for us. Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen, live here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hot Stove Weekly. Is this our last Hot Stove Weekly, or is it now prepare for the 26th championship season? I think the latter. I think that's what it is. Guys, have a great night. I'll be filling in for Trevor Thomas tomorrow morning with Josh. We'll talk more Brewers tomorrow. We'll see you then.